All right, let's look at the homework 5.6, problem number 3. All right, so I'm gonna try to use Geogebra, but I'm gonna try to do it semi-manually, so that we get to learn the formula for midpoint rule. All right, so we have a function f of x, which is 16 over x squared plus 4 over the interval from 0 to 3. All right, so let's do that. All right, so first we need to find the, let's see, delta x. So remember that the delta x is equal to, all right, so formula was b minus a, which is the length of the interval, and divided by the number of rectangles we're going to use, in this case 4. All right, so b is 3, and a is 0. And n is 4, right? So delta x is 3/4, right? So we got that. All right, then we have an interval from 0 to 3. So we have interval from 0 to 3, right? So 0 to 3. All right, so then delta x is 3 over 4. So 0 is the same thing as x0. All right, so x1 would be, let's see, I'm going to split into 4, right? So here. All right, so this is going to be x1. So x1 is going to be, so I'm going to put the x1 is, right, of course, 0 plus delta x, so 3 over 4. So it's going to be 3/4. It's going to be here. All right, next one would be 6/4 plus 3/2. All right, next one is going to be 9/4. Right, so those are x1, and this is x2, and this is x3, and this is x4. Right, then we need to find the midpoint. So midpoint would be, so right here. So basically the average between 0 and the 3/4. So that's going to be a 3/8, right? And the next one is we basically have to add the 3/4, which is the same thing as 6 over 8. So 6 over 8 added to 3 over 8 would be 9 over 8, right? Then it's going to be 15 over 8, and then 21 over 8, right? So those are going to be x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar, and then x4 bar, right? So once you have that, we can use Geogebra to find the midpoint sum, right? So let's open up a Geogebra. All right, Geogebra is open up. First thing is to make it look easier to see, I'm going to increase the font size to the maximum. Right, it's really big right here, right? Then, so first thing I would do is we have to type in the function, right? All right, so function f of x is equal to, it was 16 over, right, and x squared plus 4, right? Then hit enter, right? Now Geogebra knows what the function is, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and figure out the delta value, delta x. So I'm going to call it delta x. And the delta x is going to be, remember that it's going to be 3 minus 0 and divide by 4, right? So 3/4. So we have that. All right, so using the midpoint rule, right? So I'm going to do a parentheses, and the first one is f of x1 bar. x1 bar came out to be 3 over 8, right? Then next one is f of x2 bar. x2 bar came out to be 9 over 8, right? And the x3 bar came out to be 15 over 8. and then f of x4 bar came out to be 21 over 8, right? Then we just have to multiply by delta x. So I'm going to call it delta x, which is just a 3/4, right? And if you hit enter, actually, so this is the midpoint rule. So I'm going to let's call this guy m, right? So then I'm going to say hit enter, right? So it came out to be 7.88. Let's see what precision they want. Let's see. They want the precision to be 4 decimal places. So we're going to have to change that. So we can go to option and go to rounding, and we can change 2 decimal places to 4 decimal places. All right, so it looks like we got the 7.8756, right? Let's type it in. All right, so what we got was a 7.8756, all right? Let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like we got the midpoint rule correctly. All right, then we want to look at the region. So you have, this is an even function, so it has to be symmetric. And it looks like as x increases, it's decreasing. So you're going to have a picture like that. And we can double check with the Geogebra here, right? So if you look at the Geogebra, and it gives you the graph here, right? So it looks like we have this one to be the right picture, right? Let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like we got the correct picture as well. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.